All right, the patch went live, and we're going to talk about data mines. And I got to give a big shout out to Snap.fan, who's providing a lot of the information in this video. They went through the code in the game, and everything in this video is subject to change, and except for this right here. High Evolutionary is now going to be a 4-4, where before in the data mined is a 4-7. Now it's interesting. Like I was saying, everything in data mines is subject to change. Glenn Jones actually kind of even says that. High Evolutionary will release as a 4-4. Just a heads up, I generally won't answer questions related to data mining, making an exception here since it's a week away and our own previously advertised assets was incorrect. So what I'm getting at is most of the stuff in this video is data mined. It's subject to change. We've seen a lot of cards change before they come out. And so until it's in the game and we're playing the card, we just have to take them. Now, before we move on to some other things, we're going to talk about Wave a little bit. And there's, in general, I'm not really thrilled about the Wave situation where basically all cards cost 4. That eliminates the interactions with She-Hulk and Death. And if Zabu's on the field and Sarah's on the field, or Stature or Miles Morales, all of those cards now. And actually, I was playing quite a bit of Kitty Pryde this morning, and Wave, as well as Killmonger and Sandman, are very strong counters in some ways to that particular deck. But one of the cards I wanted to talk about, and because he cites a specific interaction that potentially could be problematic in making future cards, and I also suspect, I kind of get what he's saying, but I don't necessarily agree. But he's talking about Abomination right here. Cost 1 less for each enemy card in play that's afflicted with negative power. And because people are asking him, why you remove Doomwave and Deathwave, because they are good free-to-play decks that don't need season pass cards. No, I even think both decks are pretty cool, honestly. The problem is that we were rapidly approaching a spot where designing more cards that reward players with cost reductions would become a Wave combo deck, and those cards are fun to make. I'd like to eventually live in a world where the best Death deck is trying to destroy 8 cards, and the best Evolved Abomination deck is trying to afflict 5 cards, not just putting Yondu, Killmonger, Scorpion into Wave decks with She-Hulk, Death, and then the High Evolutionary and an Abomination. So what he was saying is that not necessarily High Evolutionary with Abomination, but also future cards that are making would just get slotted into this Wave deck and maybe not even used in with their intended purpose. I wonder if in their internal testing, adding High Evolutionary and Abomination and Scorpion into a Death Wave deck was actually better than the High Evolutionary deck. I don't know. But what he's saying is that building cards like Abomination, cost 1 less for each enemy card in play that's afflicted with negative power. So, if you play Scorpion and your opponent plays 2 cards, then suddenly this card right here costs 2 with the old version of Wave. I don't know if I agree, but I get what they're saying. What they're saying is that it wasn't the power levels of the deck, it was about future design space. Feels bad. The best performing Wave deck for over a month has often been using her to play She-Hulk, another 6 cost card on turn 6, while the second best was using her to play She-Hulk, Death, and maybe something else on turn 6. This change actually weakens, destroys, absolutely obliterates both of these decks, and neither one was the top deck in the game, though most weeks one of them would make it into the top 5. This change was important for us to make continuing design exciting cards that use cost reductions, but winds having a negative effect. We have to balance tools to address that. All right, so we talked about High Evolutionary now being 4-4. We talked about it else that Living Tribunal is going to be 6-6. I'm a little disappointed with High Evolutionary being a 4-4. I'm still going to be purchasing him with the 6,000 collector tokens. I'm going to probably pass myself on the Living Tribunal. I also passed on Howard the Duck. My opinion on those cards could change if they become viable. I suspect Living Tribunal will be a combo deck that maybe uses Wong or something, Shuri Wong something. And I feel like those decks are cool and fun when they pop off, but easily to counter. Now, on Snap.fan, they've got a bunch of data mines. We're going to go through several of them here. But here we've got Phoenix Force. I believe that's going to be the season pass card. Excuse me. And I think this is going to be interesting. Phoenix Force right here says, on reveal, revive one of your destroyed cards and merge it. That card can move each turn. And so I'm just going to throw out two ideas that I heard being bounced around with the community is maybe play Human Torch, Killmonger it, then play Phoenix Force, and then you can move Phoenix Force over to another location and that'll double. Or maybe using Atuma explodes, because this is not discard, this is destroy. So you kind of have to, make it work, right? And then you play Phoenix Force, and then it gets the power from Atuma. Now, this depends on how the merge mechanic will work. We've got 2 mentions of the merge word in the game, and they work differently. Oh my God, fix your keywords. Merge on Hulkbuster keeps the original text of the item that you merge it with. So what I just described right now works if merged works like it does on Hulkbuster. Phoenix, if it works like Hulkbuster, then Phoenix Force, if it copies or merges with Human Torch, then it'll double the power when it goes into another location. But if it works like that way with Atuma, then if another card goes into that location, then Phoenix Force explodes, right? But the location Clintar merges cards into a symbiote, and then it strips all of the abilities. So like if you play an ongoing card into Clintar, that location, let's say like Darkhawk, it loses the ongoing, and it's actually a complete waste to put Darkhawk inside of Clintar. So I don't know. I actually have no idea how this card's going to work. We're going to have to wait until it comes into the game. Echo. After your opponent plays an ongoing card here, move its abilities. So with that, what is that? That silent location? I don't remember the name of the exact location. One of the locations called Silence or something like that. And Echo, the character herself, is deaf. So that's interesting. I feel like this is kind of like Goose, which is good, but you can play around it still. I mean, just because Echo's on the board, you just don't play your Darkhawk in the location. This might be meta dependent. What I don't like about it is that it's like preemptive as opposed to like Enchantress, which just turn 6 surprise. I'm a big fan of like surprise cards that pop off on the last turn and change things around. That's why I'm a big fan of Sarah Control. I like doing fun things with Scarlet Witch, or playing Nova and Killmonger on the last turn and blowing up all their 1-drops and then boosting all your cards by 1 because of Nova, or Shang-Chi or Enchantress. I like that. And this is kind of the opposite of that. So I'm pretty lukewarm towards that. Mirage. On reveal, copy the lowest cost card in your opponent's hand to your hand, give it a +2 power. Actually, I think this might be useful enough inside of a Devil Dino deck. Maria Hill already sees play, and I think this would be better than Maria Hill. I just do. Or in combination with Devil Dino, just putting an extra card in your hand, kind of like White Queen. So this is kind of just like I don't know if I would want to pay 6,000 tokens for this card, but I think these might see play. There's some new artwork right here. Loki, swap hands with your opponent, which is interesting. And I got to tell you, the artwork in this game is bonkers, absolutely insane. And I think I've reviewed most of these cards in other videos, but we'll just look at the artwork and how stunning it is. Blob, nothing can move this to another location. Seems kind of in its current state, not that interesting. Jean Grey, players must play their first card each turn if possible. Kind of interesting. I kind of think that might be fun to do something with, although 3/3 is not really impressive. We got Iron Lad. Look at all these great artwork. My goodness. I love the art in this game, man. I really do. I don't buy cosmetics like a lot of people. I talk about it. I'm just not in a purchase. I'm not their target market for cosmetics. Unreveal, replace one each other location with this one. That could be fun. I kind of like that. Legion sounds like it can be very disruptive, especially on turn 6. That can be like a surprise card for sure. And then the one that I really like was Lady Deathstrike, and I don't see it here, but Lady Deathstrike is a 6 cost. I believe she's a 6/4, and then she destroys the highest power card in that location, which I think that would be just absolutely bonkers. I don't see it here, but Lady Deathstrike was another card that I'm super interested in when it comes to the game. I don't see it. But anyways, let's move on. Then we got 2 new locations like Hella's. 1 cost cards here have +2 power, and then White Hot Room. First to fill this gets 3 max energy. I think that's going to be great. And then right here, did you know that Marvel Snap has eye tracking? It does, because how else does Iceman always hit the card that I'm looking at, hoping that it doesn't get hit, right? What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.